When I think of community, you can't think of a more intense community than a religious cult. And I was involved in a religious cult for 16 years. Now, I'm not going to get into why I got involved or how I got out or any of those things right now, but suffice it to say, I did get out. And after I got out, I became a non joiner, meaning I wasn't joining another community, another group, another thing, because I'd done 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year of joining, of being involved. So I wasn't going to be a joiner again. Anyway, a little time passes, and I'm still trying to figure now what do I do? I'm out of that, but now what? And I hear about this experiential therapy group that does role playing, and I think, well, that might be good for me. Maybe I can deal with some of the things, the issues that came up. So I get involved, and it was good. I mean, it was wonderful, but no life changing thing happened until the very last night. And we're closing out the last night doing the serenity prayer. You know, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And I thought to myself, pretty flippantly, what is it I can't change about myself? And a voice in my head so clear, it was just unbelievable, bang, said, "You're gay." And my reaction was, duh, what have I been thinking? I mean, for 25 years, I had been in total denial of my own sexuality. See, when I was a kid, I'd had experiences with boys and I really liked them. I was attracted to boys. But at 15, I went, ooh, I'm not supposed to do this. And so I just shoved everything back. And for 25 years, I never had an experience with a guy again. And yet I would see guys every day for those 25 years. And sometimes my groin would just buzz or something, but I would see them. I'd be very attracted to them. And I go, no, no, no. I'm just jealous of him because he's good looking. He could have any girl he wants. I'm just jealous of him. I literally rewired my whole body to deny what my body was telling me so that I could live up here safely away from what was really going on. Pretty intense. Well, opening up to being gay opened up passion and feelings in my intimate life, and it was fantastic. But I realized I needed that in my entire life because I was, this damage that had been done to me from a child and from the years and the way, all that stuff, living up in my head was horrible. Well, by this time, I'm now living in Portland, Maine, and I'm divorced, and I've come out. And I'm walking along Scarborough Beach one day, and I'm looking at the waves, and they're going back and forth, and moving, and I have this feeling that comes across my chest. It just kind of just buzzes, and I'm thinking about movement and dance, and I go, no, 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 no. It's like that's the next thing I need to do is movement and dance, but I don't want to become a dance. No, so I just shove it aside. Well, about 2 weeks go by, and I decided to go over to the Swedenborgian Church on Stevens Avenue because they'd advertised they were doing something that seemed interesting. They were a pretty progressive church at the time. So I went. I wasn't going to join, but I went. And they had, when I walked in, there was a big plaque on the wall that said honoring diversity. And that made me feel good, being gay. And then this woman, Betsy Dunphy, gets up and she says, oh, I just wanted to remind people that tomorrow night we can start our moving through grief sessions. And as soon as she said moving through grief, that place in my heart when I was on the beach about dance and movement went bzzz, and I knew, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I went and talked to her and I signed up, and the next day and for the next 10 weeks, I met with about 10 people, and we did no talking at all. We would set an intention at the beginning of the session, and then we would do movement exercises. And it was unbelievable. Probably the most powerful one was so simple. We sat in a circle back to back, and somebody would name a feeling, and then we were all supposed to just think, where did we feel this? Pay attention. Where do you feel this in your body? So somebody mentioned like joy. I didn't feel anything. They mentioned compassion. Nah. Whatever. These feelings would be named, and we went on for like 20, 25 minutes. People are naming, and I could hear and sense that other people were just being overwhelmed with feelings, and I'm just sitting there. Finally, somebody named something. I don't remember what it was. Could have been fear. I don't know. They named it, and then I went, oh, and that's what that is. And that was a life changer. That suddenly I could identify this thing that was going on in my body, and I now had a name for it. That's how far out of my body I was. Anyway, this group was a life changer. And then they led me to a group called Moving from the Inside Out. which was basically a movement sort of dance thing that would meet twice a week. And we would set an intention. And then for the next 2 hours, we would just move. And it's the way that I have learned to get out of my head and down into my body. It's through movement. And what's so interesting is now I'm part of the Portland Community Dance, which came out of moving from the inside out. And it's one of the most powerful communities I've ever been part of. And it is healing and wonderful. And yet I will still say, I'm not a joiner. I fully participate, but it's still hard for me to join communities. But when I look back, it's been communities all along the way that have helped me to get out of my head and into my body. I'm Chris Newcomb. Thanks.